it to our website. So if you know someone who possibly can't attend today's event, just let them know that the recording is available on our website as well as our YouTube page. To provide everyone an introduction to my role, I serve as the Energy Public Engagement Associate, serving our communities in San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara counties. And we are here today to talk about the enrollment of Goleta, Carpinteria, and all of the unincorporated communities within the county of Santa Barbara. So that may include communities such as Montecito, Summerlin, Mission Canyon, Isla Vista, to name a few. Our agency, as you will learn, will work with Edison to provide you a shared electric service where we source the electricity that Edison delivers to you. And at the end of the presentation, we hope that you'll walk away with an understanding of who we are and what choices that you have as a customer. So as we get started, we're going to play a quick video to give you a sense of context for this entire presentation.
Electricity. It powers our everyday lives. It brings you light, opportunity, progress. But where does it come from? In California, our homes and businesses are part of the Western grid, powered by clean and renewable energy sources, as well as dirty fossil fuel sources, creating electrons every second of the day to ensure we have reliable and on-demand energy to power our lives. Think of the grid as a big pool full of electrons, delivering electricity that is a mixture of all types of energy, clean and dirty. The more clean energy we can put on the grid, the cleaner all electricity will be. And Central Coast Community Energy is now the primary electricity provider for the Central Coast. We are helping to put more clean energy on the grid, and our goal is to achieve 100% clean and renewable energy by 2030, exceeding the state's goal by 15 years and tripling our own investments in clean technologies to reduce the need for fossil fuels. And we can do this affordably to ensure your electric rates are competitive while we reinvest in our communities. Together, we're energizing economic and environmental progress for the Central Coast. To learn more about Central Coast Community Energy and our pathway to 100% renewable energy, please visit www.3cenergy.org.
Great, so here's our agenda for today. First off, we want to cover the logistics. As my colleague had mentioned, if you would like to ask a question, please include that in the Q&A box, which allows us to track everyone's question accordingly. You can also raise your hand at the end of the presentation and we can unmute you for our Q&A session. So today I'm going to share who we are, how we work with Southern California Edison, and what you could expect as your community begins to receive service from our agency. I'll discuss some of the resources that are available to you as a customer. And of course, we'll be covering some of the frequently asked questions that we typically hear from the community. Just to note, this presentation will be more helpful to our residential customers in the enrolling communities. Of course, if you are a PG&E customer, you came across this presentation and you are attending today, this presentation could also be relevant for you as well. If you are a customer with solar, just know that we have conducted webinars specifically for our net energy metering customers, which are available along with the FAQs on our enrollment website or webpage, as well as our YouTube page. We're going to do our best to answer all of your questions. We may have to group certain questions together if we see that they are similar in nature. And if you have any account specific questions, we highly encourage you to reach out to our call center so they can have that more in detail conversation with you about your account. So we're going to begin with our opening remarks. We are thrilled to have our guest speaker join us today. It's Santa Barbara County 1st District Supervisor Das Williams. His district covers from Carpinteria to Santa Barbara, including the communities of Summerlin, Montecito, Kiama, the east side and west side, downtown, and Mission Canyon. And today he is thrilled that Southern Santa Barbara County is now enrolling in Central Coast Community Energy, and he is proud to serve as vice chair of our policy board. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Das Williams. Thank you very much.
Good evening. It's great to be here, and I want to welcome everyone to the virtual enrollment presentation and to 3CE. At this point, nearly all electricity customers in the county are being served by 3CE, and therefore your dollars are going to drive the construction of more renewable energy than would be possible with the utilities. So that means that the county of Santa Barbara, our residents and our businesses are all unified in an effort to support the growth of clean and renewable energy and to share in the economic and environmental benefits that come with making that shift. Sorry, I have a couple little girls who are running around at the same time. I'm sure some of you have experienced that in the last 20 months. 3CE, so one of the best things about joining 3CE is not just are we driving renewable development, but also what we could do in our own lives to reduce our carbon emissions facilitated by the programs of 3CE. The programs are designed to help us with the transition from fossil fuels to clean energy solutions for our homes, our businesses, transportation, and our daily lives. Those programs, through those programs, 3CE gives you some financial resources to help move away from those fossil fuels. So we have our transportation electric program, the Electrify Your Ride program launched, and it's already received more than 100 applications. So get yours in soon. It provides rebates for leasing or purchasing new or used electric vehicles. Not only cars, but motorcycles and electric bikes also qualify. Customers can receive a $2,000 towards an electric vehicle and combine that rebate with many other regional, state, and federal incentives to save even more. 3C is providing $4,000 for income qualified customers who can be eligible. So low income folks, the incentive is even larger. And so if you thought you could never afford an electric car, it's definitely the time to look. I personally have made that transition, and I don't have, a lot of bucks. And it's definitely helped me financially in the long run with lower fuel costs as well. And being the forward-thinking innovator that 3C is, the Electrify Your Ride program also covers costs associated with installing electric vehicle charging in households or workplaces. And it covers the labor and electric panel costs, the electric panel updates or replacement that some customers may need. Electrify Your Ride is a real, tangible example of what it means to be empowered by clean energy and local control, and to use that power to address the needs of not just our own community, but the unique needs of our diverse Central Coast community. In the less than 4 years that 3C Energy has been operating, this community-focused organization has also accomplished so much on behalf of the cities and counties it serves, and on behalf of the residential, commercial, and agricultural customers it serves. I'm excited to see what's next and invite all of you to get engaged and to be a part of the public process that has energized so much of 3CE's accomplishments to date. So here's where I was supposed to invite you to attend a board meeting or provide public comment. You're doing that tonight through staff, but you can also do that to me personally. My email is dwilliams@countyofsb.org. And you can also do it ahead of a public meeting. So I think this is a substantive advantage over what happens in a utility, where you don't have the same kind of opportunities for public input. So I'll stick around to try to answer some questions through the chat.
Supervisor Williams, thank you so much for providing those opening remarks. We really appreciate all of the support that you've provided over the past couple of years. So moving on, as you see here, these are some of our most common questions that we get from the community, especially during an enrollment. We are seeing a couple of references to the electric vehicle and electric bike incentive as well, and we will be covering that as well during the presentation. So very quickly, I want to just address the questions that you see here because these can be points of concern for the community. And really the way I want to address them is just by providing a reassuring no to all of the questions that you see here. Your bill is not going to increase as a result of this shared service. You will not be receiving two bills. Your service with SCE will not be discontinued or disrupted as a result of this transition to shared service. And you will not lose any of your discounts, rebates, or programs that you already have through your existing utility, in this case, Southern California Edison. Lastly, you do not have to make a decision right away, whether you want to participate in shared service or opt out and just be exclusively a Southern California Edison customer. During the presentation, of course, we're going to be providing a little more color to those responses, but we just want to make sure that you have quick responses to these questions right away. So many folks ask us, what type of agency are we? Are we a private company or a public agency? And the answer to that is the latter. We are a public agency or a government agency, if you will, but we are a unique public agency known as a community choice aggregator. I like to use the acronym CCA in short. It makes it a lot easier to say over time. And as a CCA, our job is to source power from clean and renewable energy resources on behalf of our communities. That may include communities such as the County of Santa Barbara, the City of Goleta, or the City of Carpinteria. All of the cities that participate in a CCA join a CCA or form a CCA because they want more control over where their energy is coming from on behalf of their communities. All CCAs are governed by these jurisdictions, which effectively become members of this agency. With local control, CCAs can set their own rates in a public setting. They are accountable to the communities that they serve. They can help advance the acquisition of more clean, more renewable energy resources that are deployed on the grid that we all rely on for our power. And importantly, we can take revenue that would have otherwise have left the region, perhaps go to the investor-owned utilities. We can keep that revenue local and we can invest it in creative ways to help our customers make that transition to a clean energy future. And so to date, there are roughly 23 CCAs in the state of California. Altogether, we serve roughly 11 million customers. Our goals typically are to support equity, choice, and the acquisition of renewable energy on the grid. We have roughly two goals that we will share later in the presentation that really depict our mission to advance more clean and more renewable energy on behalf of all the communities that we serve. Just an interesting statistic to share with everybody here. By 2024, roughly 50% of customers in California will be served by CCAs. So we are not the only agency of our kind in California. There are plenty more conducting the same type of business throughout the state. Our particular CCA represents 33 cities and counties throughout the Central Coast. The service area ranges from Santa Cruz County down to Santa Barbara County. If we look at this map a little closer, you can see that certain communities are in Santa Barbara County already receive our service. As of January 2021, communities in North County that were served or are served by PG&E, with the exception of Lompoc and Buellton, were enrolled in our service. The reason Buellton isn't participating yet is because their enrollment is actually happening in early 2022. As of October, communities in Carpinteria, Goleta, or any of the South County unincorporated communities, such as Isla Vista, Mission Canyon, Montecito, and Summerlin, to name a few, are participating in our service. We'll explain exactly when that transition occurred for each customer in a moment. It's also important to address which customers will not be providing or receiving our services. We are not going to be providing services to the residents and businesses that reside specifically within the city of Santa Barbara. They actually are launching their very own CCA program, which means that the city will source energy for the residents and the businesses separately. And so as the supervisor alluded to, we are accountable to the public. We are governed by our local leaders. Our policy decisions are determined by a board made up of our elected officials, which includes Supervisor Doss Williams and Councilmember Kyle Richards, to name a few. Our operations are approved by a board of city and county administrators, which includes County Administrator Mona Miyasato, as well as City Administrator Dave Derflinger. Without maybe putting too much attention to this slide, because the words are a bit small, this slide gives you an idea of the time and the process it takes for a community to join a CCA program. Every city and county must undergo a public process through their city council or their board of supervisors, where your leaders voted to join this agency. And it takes roughly 1.5 to 2 years for your city or county to officially transition to this shared service. As you can see, we are nearing the end of our expansion operations as we complete your enrollment happening in Carpinteria, Goleta, and South County. And after yours, well, we just proceed with the enrollment for Buellton. So how exactly does this all work? Well, as you can see in this image, your energy service is really broken down into 3 key steps. Really, we want to determine where the source of your energy is coming from. This service is known as electric generation service, and that's the service that we are responsible for. Then there's the transmission and distribution that makes up the delivery service of that energy to your home or to your business. So again, as you see here, we are responsible for becoming the primary electric generation service provider to meet your needs for power. SCE will continue to deliver that electricity to their poles and wires to your home or business. Importantly as well, they are sending you the bill. So if you are expecting 2 bills, there's no need to worry. You're still going to get one single consolidated bill that comes from your utility. If there's an outage, a blackout, a shutoff, any of those things that disrupt your service, you would still need to reach out to your utility, in this case, Southern California Edison, so that they can send out a crew to repair or resolve any of the issues that you are facing. So at the end of the day, we are simply replacing Edison's role in determining where your energy is coming from, but they still continue to deliver all of that energy. They still manage all of the billing for you, and you effectively become a shared customer. You don't really see any disruption to your service when this transition officially occurs. Really, you're just receiving the same old energy service as always, but you're benefiting from an expanded list of options or incentives, rebates, and grants that you can participate in moving forward. So now you're going to be able to participate in any programs that Edison offers, as well as the programs that we offer through our side of the operation. And so here's a bill. We played around with what a bill will look like. Maybe you've already received a bill since it's already November. A lot of customers who have their bills arriving in early November may have already seen this appear on their bill. We are simply here to replace the generation charges that came from SCE. A lot of folks reasonably will assume that we are an additional charge because of the way this looks, but that's not true. We are not here to charge you anything extra. We are simply replacing the old electric generation charges that came from Edison. And so we appear roughly on page 4 or 5 of your new energy bill. Again, it's going to have the same look, same feel, except you are going to see charges coming from Central Coast Community Energy. But again, we don't want to alarm anyone. These aren't additional charges. We're simply replacing what came from Edison. So currently we mirror the rates from SCE's generation rates, but we apply a discount such that you are not paying an additional charge to participate in this service. These rates only apply to our generation charges, so the discounts that you see here on the screen. And every year, these rates have to be approved by our board. So we are an agency that has the ability to set our own rates, which is unique and different than the utilities that are subject to regulation from some of the state agencies. We like to put this slide as a reassurance to any customers that participate in CARE, FARA, HEAP, Medical Baseline. Just know that you get to continue participating in these programs and you don't have to make any changes whatsoever. Once you transition into shared service, we honor all of these programs and you still receive the same discount amount after the transition as well. If you want to reapply into any of these programs, just know that you still have to do that through the utility or through the organization that administers any of these discount programs. So in terms of our accomplishments, we are a fairly young agency. We started providing service to residential customers in midsummer of 2018. And I want to highlight just a couple of things that you see here on the screen. I'm not going to read bullet by bullet, but to date, we have really focused on economic vitality in the sense that we want to reinvest back into our communities through some of the revenue that we get from the customers. And so today we've put in $24 million roughly into our energy programs. Again, I will talk more about our energy programs and what they mean in a moment. But you can think about these as incentives and grants for our customers. You simply have to be a customer to be eligible for most of these programs that we will share. We also look for opportunities to support our local vendors, or in other words, our local businesses. We're always looking to contract with vendors or businesses in the local service area. And to date, we have contracts totaling more than $1 million with local vendors on the Central Coast. We are the first CCA to receive an 8 credit rating with S&P, which puts us in a really strong position to continue securing more affordable energy contracts, which trickles down into more stable and affordable rates for our customers. We also have a rate stabilization fund. You can think of this as a healthy set of reserves that we use to weather any storms, such as the recent COVID pandemic and its economic impacts on our customers. And finally, we are an agency that is committed to advancing clean and renewable energy, and that includes sources such as solar, wind, and geothermal, as well as battery storage. So as I mentioned, we have a goal of providing or sourcing 100% of our energy from clean and renewable energy resources. When we say clean and renewable, we are referring to energy sources that don't produce any harmful greenhouse gases or naturally regenerate as well. And that includes sources such as geothermal, wind, solar, potentially even biomass as well. And so to stay committed to our goal, we set 2 goals for this decade. By 2025, we would like 60% of our energy to be clean and renewable. And by 2030, our end goal is to provide 100% clean and renewable energy to all our customers. At the same time, while supporting stable and affordable rates and reinvestment in our communities through incentives and grants. This initiative does come at an exciting time. It allows us to support several new renewable energy projects, which are coming online within this decade in California. And we are well on our way to meeting our 2025 goal by the end of 2023. So you as a customer have 2 energy mix options. The default and automatic choice for everyone when they transition is 3C choice. And this is really where you're going to see those competitive rates kick in, right? We were referencing how we set our rates, and this is where you get the most benefit in terms of the rates. 3C prime is our 100% renewable option. It comes at 0.8 of a penny more per kilowatt hour than 3C choice. And many customers tend to opt into this rate because they have sustainability goals, for example, that they want to reach right away. In our experience, we've seen that there are some commercial customers, for example, that are looking to certify their business as a green business. And so they may want to opt up to 3C prime as part of their initiatives to complete the certification. It could also be more affordable to pay the small opt-in fee versus outfitting your home or business with the solar system. So that's another for thought as well. When we talk about local reinvestment, we are talking about energy programs, among other things. We reinvest roughly 4% of our operating revenue into energy programs. And to date, we've invested an estimated $14.1 million in our upcoming fiscal year's suite of energy programs. So you can think of our energy programs as essentially incentives, rebates, and grants that help our customers reduce their greenhouse gas emissions or reduce their environmental impact through the type of energy that they use. So to date, we've already launched 4 programs since the beginning of this fiscal year, which began in October. That includes Electrify Your Ride, the school bus incentive program for our school districts, our ag electrification program, as well as our new construction electrification grants for our affordable housing developments. Throughout the 2022 year, we're also going to be launching a series of other programs to benefit our residential customers, one which may include incentives for all electric home appliances, such as your electric stovetops, electric heat pump water heaters, or even upgrades to your panels or electric infrastructure. So as the supervisor mentioned, one of our most popular incentive programs relaunched this past week. It is known as Electrify Your Ride, and this provides incentives for our new or used electric vehicles, electric bikes, chargers, as well as measures to prepare your home for the installation of a charger. You may need to, for example, upgrade or replace your panel before you install a charger for your electric vehicle. If you qualify for the higher incentive, it's because you meet the income requirements. You can check out our website to see how you can qualify for that added incentive based on income. Or if you just want to learn more about any of these programs, you're more than welcome to check out our website. It's pretty extensive, provides you all of the requirements that you need to know before applying into this program. This program is going to run until November of next year or until funds run out. So you do have some time to consider if you would like to participate in this program. We also recently launched the Ag Electrification Program, which provides rebates to our ag customers for the replacement of fossil fuel powered equipment with new electric equipment, which may include our farm tools, irrigation pumps, vehicles, and other equipment. We're open to a realm of ideas from our folks working in the ag industry. So generally, this program will be available for customers that are in good standing or businesses in the ag sector. You don't necessarily have to be on an ag rate through your electric utility or through Central Coast Community Energy. You can simply be a commercial customer that is mostly involved in ag-related work. So a good example would be a nursery, which doesn't technically fall under an ag rate, but they still conduct operations that are similar to meeting the purposes or the requirements of this grant. Public schools, our school districts currently enrolled in our service are eligible to receive grants for the purchase of electric school buses, which we think is a great program for any schools wanting to achieve their sustainability goals. For example, they may want to reduce the pollution that is coming from their school buses. So in terms of the enrollment process and how we have been notifying the community, well, that notification process formally began in August with notifications that outline who we are, our services, and what we provide to the table. The notices are intended to communicate the transition to the community. And you'll notice that you do have your choices and options outlined for you in the notifications. If you do want to participate in this agency, you do not need to take any action. We simply transition you in October and you begin receiving our service moving forward. Once you are enrolled, you can participate in both our energy programs as well as any programs that Edison offers. And on average, we have about 95% of our customers choosing to stick with us. Of course, if you aren't interested in participating in this shared service, you can always ask to be unenrolled via our website or call center at no cost between now and 60 days after your October meter read date. So just so you know, every customer does have a different meter read date in October. So you do effectively have somewhat different timelines for making that decision at no cost to you. Some of you may have enrolled or transitioned in October 1st, and some of you may have enrolled after that period. So just know that your meter read date really determines the date in which you transitioned into Central Coast Community Energy Service. So if you choose to opt out at any point after your enrollment window, which would be 60 days after your meter read date, You would have to be subject to an administrative fee of $5 if you are a residential customer. Of course, if you choose to make that decision at any point after the enrollment window, you are more than welcome to do so. There is nothing holding you back on the administrative standpoint from opting out and returning to exclusive SCE service. Vice versa, if you would like to re-enroll, if you opted out during the enrollment window, if you'd like to re-enroll back into our service, you're more than welcome to do so as well. So in addition to the formal mailers, of course, we want to get out there in front of the community and make sure that they are aware. You may have seen us give presentations at your local chamber, at your local community-based organization or nonprofit, your local Rotary or Lions Club, and so on. And of course, we're also working to get advertisements out there through social media, radio and television as well, both in English and in Spanish. We are also working with our community-based organizations, our cities and counties to make sure that we can spread the word through their newsletters and through their channels whenever appropriate. So beginning in January of 2022, all NEM customers or net energy metering customers, these are customers that provide their own generation or a portion of their own generation on site. So potentially our solar rooftop customers, for example, or you may even have wind turbines on your property, for example. These customers transition to shared service at a different date than everyone else. So we just want to make sure that's clear. All these customers are transitioning in January, and you will be receiving your annual bill statement or true-up in January as well. We are notifying these customers of the transition with customer webinars that are separate from the webinars like this one. And we are using a different timeline for the notifications as well. So since your transition occurs in January, your first notification actually arrives this month in November. Then the next one comes in December. The last two arrive in February and March. And so this is the monthly billing structure that will go into place in January 2022. If you use more than you generate, that means that you will have a payment due each month. This means that you will not have a large accumulated charge due at your annual true-up. If you overgenerate each month, there is no monthly payment due. The credit you generated that month will be applied to the next month's bill. Whether you over or under generate, you will still have an annual true-up. December will be the month that NEM customers can request a check if their return is more than $200 for residential customers or $500 for commercial customers. So based on customer feedback from our existing NEM or net energy metering customers, we had these three goals in mind. That was to eliminate large year-end true-ups, improve visibility of our charges and NEM credit balances, and provide added flexibility with the use of NEM credits. If you are interested in learning more, we highly encourage you to give a call to our call center reps where they can answer any account specific questions that you may have, or attend one of our webinars for NEM customers where we can get more into the weeds, more into detail, and answer any NEM specific questions that you may have. So finally, as we mentioned, we are looking for ways to contract more with local vendors. So to that end, we did create what is known as a vendor registry with the goals of increasing economic impact within our small and local businesses across the service area by contracting with small and local vendors for our business needs. Registration through this tool is an essential first step that's designed to inform you of local business opportunities and identify any barriers to small and local business participation. So we are almost closing our presentation or concluding our presentation, better said. Opportunities to participate in our webinars. Of course, you could always check out the recordings of this webinar or any of the solar webinars that we've already provided. And then we do have 2 upcoming webinars for your consideration. So if you know anybody who speaks Spanish, would prefer to receive this presentation in Spanish, we are giving a presentation to them on November 18th. That's this Thursday from 6 to 7. And if you would prefer to receive the solar version or the NEM version of this presentation, you could check out the recording that we just conducted from our November 9th webinar, or you can check out our upcoming live webinar happening on December 7th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. So as we move on to questions, I am going to pass it over to Supervisor Doss Williams if you would like to provide any closing remarks.
Well, there was one question that you guys dismissed, maybe because it was real overly snarky, which was, so what's the point? And I think that's actually a good question. And I'm sorry I wasn't more clear. There's two goals of 3CE. One is more renewable energy faster than that which could be achieved through the utilities, so that we can more substantively back up our values of wanting to generate renewable energy and live in a clean energy future. And then the second point is local control, is that you can lobby me or identify a problem or a solution in a more easy fashion with me and your local council members than you can with SCE executives. So it's an honor to serve you, and I'll keep on trying to answer questions through the chat.
Thank you so much, Supervisor Williams. So now we can proceed with the questions portion of this presentation. Just to reiterate what the supervisor just said, yes, if we missed getting that point across, I couldn't have worded it better than the supervisor. Our mission really here is to advance the acquisition of clean and renewable energy on the grid. And we're doing it at a much quicker rate than what the utilities are able to accomplish at this time. The slide that references our energy projects and our pathway to 100% clean and renewable energy speaks to that. We are reaching our goal for 2030 comes 15 years ahead of the state's mandate of the same nature to provide 100% clean and renewable energy for all of the state. We're aiming to do it for our particular communities by 2030. Much quicker rate and time than what some of the other utilities are able to accomplish at this time. So that's what's really exciting. We get to set that local control to advancing clean and renewable energy, and we're doing it at a much quicker rate than what some of the other players in this industry are able to achieve. So with that, we encourage you to stay connected with us. Again, if you would like to send us an email, please do so via South Support. That is our email specifically for our customers that are in the Southern California Edison service area. You could also give us a call. If you call the number there, they will ask you if you are a Edison customer, in which case you will be redirected to a call center rep that can attend your needs as a customer in South County. You could also stay connected with us through our newsletter. You can attend our board meetings. We can notify you when those happen. And then you could also follow us on social media. We have a Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, as well as a Facebook in Spanish page. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to my colleague, Jenna, so she can help moderate some of the questions.
Okay, fantastic. Oswaldo, we have one customer who is a medical baseline customer, and they're interested in getting an electric bicycle. Could you talk about the electric program?
Yeah, so let's go back to the slide so that we can all look at it together. Let me go a little slower. Might be too bright on your screen. All right, so this is the electric vehicle incentive, but it also covers electric bike incentives. So this is really a comprehensive energy program, and you could apply for one of 4 different types of incentives. So the most popular one, of course, is the electric vehicle incentive, but you could also separately apply for an electric bike incentive. It's also worth noting that if you apply for one, that does not hold you or bar you from applying into any of the other 3 incentive programs or incentives within this program. So for example, if you got your electric vehicle rebate, you are still able to participate in getting a rebate for an electric bike, a charger, or any panel upgrades or replacements for your home or business. The electric bike rebate, you can find more information about the specific amounts that you would qualify for based on your income. You can find that information on our website.
Yep, and the base rebate level for an electric bike is $500, and then income qualified customers may receive $1,000. And then we have an adder of $100 if you buy from a local bike company. Okay.
Thanks, Jenna.
Yeah. So one person says, I thought we were automatically enrolled and I wasn't aware there's an option to opt out. Please explain.
I think you worded it pretty well. So this is, you can think of it as an automatic enrollment. We are, because your city or county voted to join this agency, state law requires that everyone participating in or living in the community or with a business in the community effectively have Central Coast Community Energy as their default energy provider. If you do not want to participate in this agency, you do have the choice to opt out. And the best way to do that is by letting our call center know, or you could also do it independently. You can do it on our website. There is a page that allows you to opt out on your own. You just need your account information, your account number with SCE in order to let us know what your account is and let the system process your opt out accordingly.
Okay, very, very common. We have a lot of questions around time of use. So how does the SCE time of use or standard tier rates relate to our services?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we mirror any of the rates that Southern California Edison provides. So if you were a time of use customer for your delivery service with Southern California Edison, you will be on a time of use plan for your generation service through Central Coast Community Energy. So we keep it really simple. Whatever you have on the SCE side, we mirror that on the generation side as well. Let me provide a little more color to that, just in case people are wondering about the transition to time of use. So that's occurring at some point in spring of 2022. So it's coming fairly soon. And customers do have a couple options. You can allow the transition to occur automatically. You can choose to not participate in time of use, or you can choose another rate that better suits your needs. If you want to make any changes regarding time of use, you have to do it through Southern California Edison. They are the ones that administer your rate, and they send us the information downstream. So if you transition to a time of use plan through SCE, just know that you will also see Central Coast Community Energy charging you for the generation service based on a time of use rate structure as well.
Fantastic. We have a number of questions about where our energy comes from.
That is a good question. Let me see if I can just quickly, I have a slide that I hid here, and it has a map of all of our current energy projects that we have signed onto. You could also check out our website where we try to update it with the latest contracts that we've been signing, our latest progress on the amount of renewable energy that we're able to supply to our communities. Just know that the progress right now is fairly slow, but it is ramping up fairly quickly as we start to sign a lot of renewable projects. Generally speaking, our renewable energy is coming from sources such as solar, geothermal, wind, biomass is a very small portion of that. And then very importantly, we are looking to firm up a lot of that intermittent renewable energy with battery storage. So, you know, if you think of solar and wind, those sources aren't readily available throughout the entire 24-hour cycle of the day. So in order to mitigate some of those drops in supply, we are firming up the renewable supply with battery storage. So as you are looking for the next question, Jenna, let me see if I can quickly pull up the slide with the map of projects.
Sure, I'll just answer a quick question while you're doing that. One person asked if electric vehicle rebates would be available for cars that were already purchased. So the answer is, if it was purchased after October 1st of 2021, you are eligible to submit an application for that vehicle. And if you've currently enrolled with Central Coast Community Energy, then you'll be all set to go. If you're a solar or a NEM customer enrolling with us in January, then we'll just put your application in the hold inbox until January, and then we will process it at that time. And I do just want to note that we have plenty of money in the budget for those customers who do have to wait until January to participate in the program.
Thanks, Jenna. So just very quickly, these are some of the projects that I've already signed long-term power purchase agreements for. This provides us a stable supply of renewable energy in the long term. It keeps our rates stable as well when we sign long-term power purchase agreements. And as you can see, all of these projects are as local as possible. We try to create opportunities for local generation projects in the service area as a way of stimulating the local economy. And if that's not possible, we look for projects that are as close to the service area as possible. All of these energy projects feed into the California grid that we all rely on for our power needs.
Great, thank you. One person is wondering if our rates will continue to be similar to Southern California Edison's in the future.
Correct. Yes. So right now they're set for a 2% discount, and every year we evaluate the rates, and our board approves those rates annually. But in the long term, yes, SCE rates are competitive, and we are aiming to remain competitive with them in the long term as well.
I'll just add, because that's a decision that the policy board makes, that though natural gas prices are volatile right now, we've faced a couple decisions and are pretty committed to keeping rates for Southern California, for former Southern California Edison customers below SCE. In addition, SCE has applied for a rate increase. So it may end up being better than 2% less than SCE in the long run.
Fantastic, thank you. So are there advantages to joining 3C Prime?
Yeah, and forgive me again, I'm going to go back to the contact slide. I think that's a good one if you want to take down our contact information. Advantages to 3C Prime. Well, first of all, as we said, if you are a business looking to certify as green, that's one of the measures you can take to reach your goal or effectively become certified as a green business. There's a variety of initiatives that you can take. You know, as we've spoken with the green business programs throughout several counties, it seems as if there are roughly 50 measures that you may have to take in order to certify as a green business. And energy is one of the sectors that you need to achieve some sustainability goals in. So that could be a benefit for you. For other customers, as we said, if it's perhaps too expensive for you to show your support of clean energy using solar panels, then 3C Prime might be the way for you to go. It's really an opportunity for you to support this agency's revenue in securing more renewable energy projects in the future.
Fantastic. This person says, I received my bill notification by email listing the bill amount. Should I expect the same format from Central Coast Community Energy? When should I receive the first bill? And I'll also tack on, if someone has auto payment set up, will that continue to be the same?
Let me answer those questions backwards. So yes, nothing changes to your payment system. If you're on auto payment, that's going to remain the same. The way that you're going to see those charges appear on your bill, let me pull up that slide. I think that would help. Let's see if I can get out of this slideshow really fast. There was a slide in the presentation that speaks to this. Oh, this one right here. Okay. So right now we're in outline mode. Jenna, are you able to see my screen of the PowerPoint?
I can see, yes, your personal one with the notes.
Cool. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, the personal one?
I'm sorry. No, we can see the PowerPoint without your notes, but we just
Oh,
see the menu down the left side.
got it. Got it. Okay, thank you. So as you see here, you're receiving your billing from Edison still, and the optics really won't change. What you're going to be seeing, the changes you're going to be seeing in terms of optics really are going to be that you're going to be receiving an additional page appearing roughly on page 4 or 5 of your energy bill. And this is going to be a page dedicated to Central Coast Community Energy electric generation charges. This is just to provide a little more visibility into the fact that Central Coast Community Energy is responsible for your generation charges moving forward. Prior to the transition, generation charges appeared as fees that came from your utility, in this case, Southern California Edison. As a result of the transition, Edison will provide you a bill credit for the generation charges that they would have charged you. And those charges will be replaced by our generation service. It's not an additional charge. We make a note to always say that it's not an additional charge. We're simply just replacing what came from Edison. When should you be expecting your first bill? Well, when you've always been receiving your bills from Edison. It depends on your meter read date, and Edison has already a set schedule for sending you the bills every month. So we're still following the same billing cycle that you've already had with your utility. That's not changing. I hope I answered all the questions.
I think so, yes. I'm just, sorry, managing the chat. And so one person is wondering, if their power comes from the grid, how do we know which source actually generated the energy that they're using?
That is a good question. So you can't track where your electrons are coming from. That's the difficult thing about electricity. It's perhaps, for example, with water, I'm no expert, but perhaps with water, you may have a better chance of knowing where your water is coming from. It's not the same case with electricity. It's very hard to track the direction of movement of electrons once they get deployed onto the grid. What we can say is, in this overall effort as a CCA, we are helping cleaning up the grid, because we are purchasing energy that meets the demand for you as a customer and for all of the communities that are participating in this agency. So we are doing our part to clean up the grid. And really, when we look for projects that are renewable, or let me take that back. When we are looking to invest in renewable projects, we're looking to bring new online renewable projects on the grid. And so your revenue supporting new tangible renewable projects such as wind, such as solar, such as battery storage, that are here in the state of California, that are here supporting the grid, that feeds the power that you rely on for your home or for your business.
Thank you, Oswaldo. I want to note we just have 5 minutes left. So if anyone has a burning question, please do type it into the Q&A. Oh, and there come a bunch. Okay. We have one person wondering, saying that SCE had a sudden rate increase for time of use plans. Will that be followed by Central Coast Community Energy?
Because we mirror SCE's rates, whenever they make an increase to the rates, we do so as well, still keeping the discount off of the generation rate from Edison in mind.
That's correct. So if the increase, I know that Southern California Edison just made an increase on the transmission and distribution end of things. So that's separate, but if they're making a rate change on generation, you will see that with our services also. And we have one customer asking if rolling blackouts will be reduced. I just want to say Southern California Edison does continue to manage the grid, and will be the ones having to make power safety shutoff decisions and wildfire mitigation choices. So
That being said, we do have a couple programs trying to have more batteries that would increase our local resilience, not in cases of public safety shutoffs, but in cases of the blackouts that we've suffered in the past from arcing due to fire. So if we have more battery supplies located locally, which is what one of our efforts is, then we will be more resilient and less likely to have other types of outages.
Thank you, Supervisor Williams. My most recent bill from Southern California Edison is October 25th, and it still says SCE. When will I see the transition on my bill?
November. No one sees us appear on their October bill. The transition occurs in October, but we don't officially start to provide you the service until after you transition. So you would actually start to see us appear on your November bill. Thanks for asking that question.
Sure, a similar billing question. One customer receives a bill email notification. They read the email that shows the bill amount without, they don't even open the bill to pay. Will they continue to receive those types of communications from SCE?
Yes, you still are, if you are on an email list with Edison or you receive your mail from Edison. Basically, everybody still continues to be in communication with Edison. That doesn't change. As we said, they still manage the billing and they still have access to you as a customer by mailing you any updates, or if you are on their email listserv, they can also send you email notifications as well. That doesn't change.
Okay, one last question. Under SCE, I could not produce more power than I consume. Will that continue to be the case with Central Coast Community Energy?
Correct. Nothing in terms of the transition would affect or change that scenario because you are effectively on a time of use plan. It largely depends on. Go ahead, Jenna. I thought you.
Yeah, I was going to say also because Southern California Edison continues to maintain all of the infrastructure. So any agreement that you have with them will continue to be in place as a solar generating customer.
Correct. The one thing to note, however, is that our NSC rate, our net surplus compensation rate, is set at 4.2 cents per kilowatt hour. So it is higher than the NSC rate that is offered by Edison.
Fantastic. Well, I see that it's 7 o'clock. I know we had a couple solar customers who had outstanding questions. I do want to encourage you to join us for our webinars that we hold specifically for our solar and NEM customers. And then any closing remarks, Oswaldo?
I just want to say thank you so much for the thoughtful questions and for your time attending this webinar. We really appreciate you just taking the time to out of your evenings to listen to what Central Coast Community Energy has to offer to you. And we hope to have you as a customer moving forward.
I just wanted to give out my email again because someone asked in the chat, dwilliams@countyofsb.org. I serve both on the policy board and I'm one of the 7 people on the executive board for 3CE. So look forward to your questions and look forward to continuing to serve you.
So with that, we can wrap up this presentation. Again, everybody enjoy the rest of your evening. If you would like to stay in touch with us, you could always subscribe to our newsletter or give us a call if you have any questions that weren't addressed in today's webinar. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your night.